Următorul care reprezintă este Andrea Pergher. El probabil că mulți îl cunoașteți. El a fost de la început cu noi. Și el va prezenta un pic ce înseamnă piața de afine în momentul de față.
Yeah, good morning everybody. Thank you. I have to say thank you to Daniel to invite me here also today, and also special thanks to organize this event again, because this is very important, and this is the fourth time I think, and make all the effort and the energy to organize this every year is it's very interesting, but it takes a lot of time and energy. So thank you, Daniel, to do it again, because it's very important things to be here all together in the same room talking about blueberries and berries in general. So thank you. So pictures to know the overall global industry of blueberries a bit. This is a summary, of course, but you can look at the complete data, and I suggest you to do it. This data come from the IBO, so the International Blueberry Organization. These data are collected from the industry, so it is very difficult to have proper data, but this is the best that we have today. Okay. These data are put together from this team. This is Kurt Brazelton, is one of the founder of the International Blueberry Organization. They started 15 years ago to collect all the data globally. So they feel that it was necessary to have the number of the industry to know better the market and to build our strategy for the future. And now the rest of the team are people that are collecting all the data, put together this report that is very big. And I suggest you to go on this website, internationalblueberry.org. You can download the full report. It's 200 and something pages. It's really complete. It is all the industry, all the blueberry industry in the world. So you can check country by country, production, strategies, crops, and everything. So these data are so important. So I suggest also you to become member. Look, when you are deciding in the website, you can find the membership is a small fee. That this helps to keep this organization healthy and growing and collecting data for everybody. These data are today available for free, thanks for this sponsor. These are blueberry friends, let's say, that globally around the world put the effort and paid to be sponsored and to be able to collect all this data. So let's have an overview of the industry a bit. So this is the production increase. This increase in the last few years really a lot. This graph shows the kilos. We are close to 2,000 million tons globally of blueberries. And it is very interesting to see in the last few years, from 2018 until now, so we grow around 77%. Is a big growth in the last few years. This we divide in three areas. Here, mainly Americas, Asia, and Europe. EMENA, of course, we included also Africa in these three areas. So it is not everything simple. The production is growing so fast. We are facing some challenges, of course. First of all, the pricing has a bit of pressure. So we had a small decline, but if you considering how big was the 77% increase in the last 5 years, only 11% was the average decline in price. So that means that the industry is very healthy, strong, and increasing very fast. 11% is average. Of course, you can see here, it is a bit different area by area. For example, in the Americas, where the market is a lot more mature, decreased only 3%, in some region a bit more. Of course, it's seasonal. Some weeks has been more difficult than others. Some regions suffered a bit more than others. For example, in the EMEA region, we suffered minus 18% average of the price compared to 2018. But still, it's not so big. But it will be not easy to go in the market, and competition will increase, production will increase. So we are facing at the moment increasing in production cost, for example, 20-30%. Non-harvest costs are also increasing, plastic, due to all the economical situation in the world, some wars in Ukraine, now war in Israel, so the economic condition, the pandemic, so everything together caused this cost increase, inflation. So looks like now the costs are beginning to normalize a bit. So there is not a big crisis like last year or the year before. So the industry trend, there are how we can do it, how we can win in this market that became more difficult with more competition. First of all, we need to know this data. We need to know before to start a blueberry project. This is very important. And there are some strategies that we can use to increase and be competitive in the market. One of these, for example, is increasing demand. Increasing demand, this is a real story happening in Poland, so this is a very nice example. How they did in Poland, what is happening in Poland. So now Poland is the largest producing, later we will see the data. In Europe is the largest country with producing blueberries. With a lot of history, they started quite a lot of years ago. And if you see these graphs, you see how they have been able to grow the demand in the last few years. So Poland was just a production until a few years ago. They're producing a lot of blueberries, but almost 99% was for export. Well, that's what is happening now in Romania. So you can use this as an example that what could happen in the next 10 years. In Poland, 99% of the product was for export. Now, if you look at this graph, if you look at this graph, the import was equal of the export in 2022. This, in the last few years, look how much the import was growing. That means that they are growing some local consumption. Until a few years ago, if you went to Poland, you couldn't find any blueberries in the market. Today, if you go to the supermarket in every town in Poland, you can find blueberries 12 months later. And they are eating their own blueberries during the season, and when they don't have blueberries from Poland, they import from outside. What they did, there's a lot of promotion, and you can find more information if you download the full report. There are the full story, okay? Second, so increased demand, and so on, but what we have to do is working well in the field. This is very important, field efficiency, productivity, and quality. We don't have to forget this. We have to work, these are probably the most important things that we can do. First of all, maximize efficiency. We cannot have room for mistakes now. Please don't do the mistakes that we did 20 years ago. Now there is the knowledge to don't repeat the same mistakes that we did 20 years ago. And I see every day growers doing the same mistakes is unbelievable. There is the knowledge now to don't do the same mistakes. We have to increase productivity. We have to maximize harvest efficiency. This is also related to management of the field, starting from irrigation, but starting from the plant quality. Size is related to genetic, also for pruning, of course, but there are some varieties now that are size of the fruits is bigger. Bigger size means less picking cost. Better quality, new genetics to be competitive on the market, to increase consumption. If we sell good variety, with shelf life, with flavor, with size, with a good appearance, we increase the demand. If we sell soft, not good, acidic, with moldy fruits, we cannot increase consumption. And for machine harvest, today we have seen there are some opportunity in the future. There will be more and more a lack of labor to really pick everything by hand. So we are very lucky, very happy that there are somebody that are really improving and studying and making the effort to create some possibility of mechanization. is perfect, and don't step back. We have to go ahead. And very good also that I'm very happy that also the University of Bucharest here today, they're doing some trials. Everybody together we can improve the industry. So let's have a look at some numbers quickly. This is the production, the hectares, sorry, from 2014-2022 looks globally. We are growing and growing and growing. In every region are growing. This is Americas, of course the big history in Americas for blueberries. There is Asia. Asia is growing a lot. And also Europe, so Europe, Middle East and Africa are growing constantly year by year. This is the global production. We have seen this graph before. We are close to 2,000 million tons between fresh and processed altogether. But now, what is very interesting to see is that fresh is now 70% of the total. Only 30% is processed. Until a few years ago, it was 50-50. 50% in 2016, 50% went for process. So the market for fresh is growing and growing. This is what I have just said, 30% for process and 70% for fresh. This is very interesting, this graph, because it's the total hectares in production globally. Until a few years ago, the Americas was really a lot more than 50% of the total. Almost everything, 70% of the crop was in the US. Now, for the first year, US is less than 50% of the global production. That means that the rest of the world, we are planting blueberries everywhere. Europe, Asia, everywhere, we are planting more and more blueberries everywhere. The global yields is very important, as I said before. To be profitable, we have to be at the maximum efficiency as possible. This graph is encouraging because we see that this is kilos divided hectares, the total average. So the total average is more or less 10 tons per hectare less, 9 point something ton per hectare, the real average. Some area a bit less, Asia a bit less, EMEA a bit more. This is only the production. We've taken out the 20% of the new plantation. So these are only the hectares that are producing blueberries. An average of 10 tons per hectare. What is interesting is to see that in the last few years is slowly improving. That means that we are learning how to grow blueberries. We are doing less mistakes. We have variety that are more productive. There are new systems that increase the yield. Substrate, cultivation, better fruit irrigation system. We have net afin also here today helping us to do the best in our irrigation management. That is very important. This is the global cultivated production by country, a visual quick see about the color. As much blue, it is the biggest one. So the first in the world today is China. Unbelievable, until a few years ago they didn't exist. It's just probably 5, 6, 10 years that they're planting blueberries. Before they didn't know what it was. Now they're the biggest in the world. Second, US, that has been the first forever, and now they're the second, and then Peru, that is growing a lot. 73 countries today growing blueberries in the world. This is the top 10 by country. As I told you before, so China is the number one now, unbelievable. United States has lost his first position, that it was always at the first position. Peru is growing and growing, now it's beating Chile. Chile was also one of the first until a few years ago. Now it is just in fourth position, losing year by year. Talking about Europe, we have Poland, the biggest country producing blueberries in Europe is Poland, and the second is Spain. I hope to see Romania here. Romania has a big potential. In the coming years, I really hope to come back here, show the same slides, and to see Romania in the first 10 countries. Today, Romania is between 2,500 probably. It is always difficult to have this right number, but between 2,000 2,500 hectares. Here, South Africa is 3,800. but with the big potential that is in this country, I'm sure in the coming years we can see Romania in the top 10. This is top 10 countries for production. Before it was hectare, now it's production. Still China, the first. Peru is the second, because Peru has even if they are less hectares, they are very productive because they are producing 20, even 30 tons per hectare. These no-chill varieties are very, very, very productive. The season over there is much longer, so this is something that we cannot compare in our climate. But you know, Peru is the second position, United States third, and still Poland and Spain in the top 10. Production by country, this is for fresh. Of course, we said before 70% is fresh, so there is not change. Just a quick look on process. Not only because process could be important for the future, because when the industry will become more important, also process today, what we frozen is only what was not good for fresh market. It was not good enough for the fresh market, and we frozen and we do process. The only country today that are doing a real business with process is the United States. It is the only place where there are companies that are really growing only for process. They pick by machine. It's not necessary to have a fine field. Probably Oxbow is more efficient. They picking everything in one time, and they're frozen. So for them, it's profitable to grow for process because they do the farm. They think the farm for process since the beginning. So it is the strategy since the beginning. Until now, is not the case in Europe, but probably will come in maybe 10 years. This is top 10, is also very interesting. Export by country. The first export is Peru. Of course, in Peru, they export 100% of the production, mainly to Asia, United States, and Europe. But the second is very important, is Netherlands, because Netherlands is the second in export, because there is a kind of hub. They collect the fruits they send the fruits in Netherlands, they packing and reselling in other parts of the world. Chile is losing, is only at the third place. Another important point is Hong Kong. For the Asian market, for the big project, is today the golden boy of the industry, because the price is extremely high, the demand is increasing like crazy, and Hong Kong is more or less the Netherlands of the Asia, because they are a collection point, and from Hong Kong they are shipping everywhere, Singapore, China, all the big cities of the Asia. This is the import by country. Import is interesting to see. United States is still the first. They are consuming, they're really eating a lot of blueberries. Everybody we want to arrive to this consumption level. So this is why we can think that for the future, the industry will grow and grow and grow again, because we want to arrive to this level of consumption. They eat 2.5 kilos per capita per year, average. So a lot more compared to the rest. Probably Europe is, I don't know, 200-300 grams, something like that. Netherlands is the second, and the third, Germany. Germany is a very important market. Also, they're eating a lot of blueberries. They don't do like Netherlands. What they import, they really eat themselves. Netherlands, they import to resell. They're dealer. We know them, no? Marcel? We know the Dutch. Again, Hong Kong for the Asia. The global production, just to see what we said before, here we see the split. So this is the total production, including wild. We have also a small percent of wild blueberries. We know also in the mountain here of Romania, there are a lot of wild blueberries. They are included in this total amount, so almost 2 million tons of blueberries altogether between fresh and processed and wild. Until a few years ago it was 50%, 50-50, 50 fresh, 50 processed. Look now where we are. With the fresh we are here, with the processed we are here. So there is a lot of volume, a lot of room to grow the consumption for challenges in the margin, because we have increased production cost, increasing inflation, more problems, economical issues around the world and so on. This causing some pressures on return. So it's not so easy to invest like a few years ago. But we have something to against this, so we can be competitive anyway. First of all, we can see that the fresh availability is constantly increasing all year. We are planting blueberries everywhere in the world. We found them in the supermarket 12 months a year. Every day we have fresh availability and with increasing quality every day. And the strategy to be competitive is quite simple. Quality is king. We have to work with quality. We have to, yield is very important. We have to maximize the productivity, do less mistakes as possible, and improve harvest efficiency to reduce the cost. Looks very simple. It is not, but we do our best to do it. I encourage you to have a look at this, internationalblueberry.org. You can find all the full report. I think it's very interesting. You have to learn and to be informed between each other if you want to be competitive and win together in the same market. Thank you for your patience.